Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Emissary Predator 2 Ultimate Action Figure from The Predator, which is clearly the best of all Predator movies, maybe the best movie of all time, with easily some of the best designs, which you're looking at right here. A Predator in a military stripper outfit of some variety. Definitely an interesting look. So if you're not familiar, I did review the first one of these guys, and I explained what they are, but I'll do it briefly here. They are cut from the movie Creations, which I believe the scene was supposed to be them needing gear to fight the big predator, so they used the military gear and work with the humans. However, it's just absolutely ridiculous looking, but we do get some kind of unique things out of these, so let's go ahead and take a look. So let's get them off the stand and take a closer look. Smooth transition. All right. So this guy stands just about 22 centimeters to the very top of his head, which makes him just about 8 3/4 inches. So he does have a little bit of size to him. He towers over your average Marvel Legends figure. Let me grab one here. There it is. I mean, they're not in the same scale, but realistically, since Marvel Legends are too big and these Predators are maybe questionably not that big, I mean, I remember them being taller. Maybe not. Either way, they worked well enough together that if you wanted to mix them up, you could, just in case you guys were wondering about that. So, the first one of these Predators, the biggest drawback was the military gear. The camouflage paint job on it is absolutely offensively atrocious. It is the kind of thing that hurts my feelings, and I don't even have those, so that should tell you how bad it is. It's super fuzzy down here for the pants, and then you can see lots of like squiggly lines, which is not what camouflage looks like in any variety. It's particularly bad around the armor plates on the chest and arms. You can see lots and lots of squiggly lines and dots, and it looks like a toddler's painting rather than camouflage. It absolutely destroys the look of the figure. It wouldn't be that bad. Like, I don't hate the idea of the Predators wearing military gear. It wouldn't be that bad otherwise if they had good camouflage. The rest of the paint job's decent enough. You can see, like, down here it looks alright. That's pretty good. I just realized I was petting his happy place. I didn't mean to do that, but it happened, so we'll move on. This is painted really nicely. The gloves are actually painted nicely, though the battle damage is cartoonish and silly looking, so that's kind of weird. But here's the important thing, which was the selling point, if there is one, for the purple one, the previous one. The Predator itself is kind of cool. Now, the skin tone doesn't have any of the shading that you would expect it to have normally. It's more of a kind of like a sticker look for his patterns. You can see they're very kind of like cut and dry, if that doesn't really fit there, but you kind of get what I'm saying. I hope there's no like feathering from the blue to the black to the tannish creamy skin tone. So it's interesting. I don't dislike it. I don't know. I mean, obviously it wasn't in the movie, so we can't really say what it's supposed to look like, but it's blue and black, and that's unique, so that's pretty cool. And it is done well. Like, there's a nice wash over the face, and the blue and black is clean, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't look as good as that cool pearlescent purple one, but the Predator parts are still done very nicely. It's just this military gear looks ridiculous from a figure standpoint, not from a concept standpoint, though the bare feet with the little pads on there looks pretty stupid. But as far as execution goes, the paint job's horrendous on the camo, so therefore the aesthetic on this guy is 5 out of 10. The Predator cannot make up for that ridiculous, terrible, disgusting, offensive camouflage paint job. I'm sorry, NECA. That's a really poor showing. You know, I know you guys have done this kind of thing before and it looked great, so I don't know what happened here. Look at that. That's not camouflage. That is not a camouflage paint job. It's so not good. Okay, on to the accessories. We have 2 different heads. We have the unmasked head, which you already saw, and then we have the helmeted head, which looks pretty good. It's got the blue and black peeking through at the top, and otherwise is done pretty nicely. As for hands, we have 2 loose hands that come on in the package, 1 trigger finger hand and 1 secondary hand for holding his gun, and then we have 2 fist hands, which are all painted pretty nicely other than the battle damage on the plate. And then lastly, we do have his gun with the absurdly small ammo pouch because he's got like, what, 10 rounds in there? Not a lot, but still a nicely detailed gun. So accessory-wise, we'll give him an 8 out of 10. 2 heads, a bunch of hands, and a gun. I think that'll do. As for articulation, well, the head is on a ball peg with a straight peg that connects the head to it, obviously. Doesn't have the best range, but it has enough. I found that if you don't push the head down all the way, because for some reason This guy has like no neck. I don't know what happened there, but it doesn't even match the cover art on the box. Probably want to lift the head up just a little bit, and that will give you a little bit of extra range as well. But it does lean around pretty well. It's not the most we've seen. He's got a particularly big jaw, this guy. I don't know what happened there. But it moves around well enough. The shoulders are swivel hinges, so your swivel goes all the way around, and your hinge is absolutely worthless. Also, I'd like to point out, there's red glitter on mine right there, and I don't know where that came from. I don't have red glitter, and it's like in there. It is on there. So someone at the factory had red glitter on their hands when they put my figure together. The elbows are double hinges with swivels, so double swivel hinges. It'll swivel at the top and at the bottom, and then the hinge does work nicely. Though on this side, he's got this weird like arm brace thing, and it kind of gets in the way. It does technically have a swivel in the middle, but since we have a double hinge here and a single hinge here, it is problematic. Luckily, this hinge doesn't work on mine, so it's not that big of a problem, but it's still something to be aware of. Be careful with that piece. Wrists are obviously a swivel since they're interchangeable, and then we have a hinge. Diaphragm joint works really nicely on this guy. It feels like a single. And it could be a double or just a loose single, but either way, it moves around really nicely, especially for a Predator. That's good. Ball peg for the diaphragm joint. It's mostly just a swivel, so I don't know for sure if it's a ball peg, but it does have a little bit of play to it. But either way, you can move his torso around really nicely. These guys are all soft, so they won't get in the way of the hips. You can bring the hips out basically all the way. If you ever needed a Predator to do splits, you can do that with this figure. They do go forward and back pretty far as well, and if they're at maximum range, they don't have a problem, but if they're not, they are loose and floppy and conjoined, so be aware of that. You do get a thigh swivel out of there, which is nice. Double jointed knee, which is a swivel hinge at the top and a regular hinge at the bottom. It does work nicely, and if you do need to use that swivel for some reason, you can do that. And then lastly, for the ankle, we have a ball peg, which is really, really bad. In fact, it's very difficult to get this guy to stand because his feet don't lean forward quite well enough, and then they are kind of floppy as well. So articulation on this guy is only going to be a 6 out of 10. Shoulders ruin it, ankles are not great, loose hips, and a good diaphragm joint. So not the best showing from NECA, but it's not terrible. So final verdict on this guy is just like the other one. It's really not that good of a figure due to the camouflage paint job and limited articulation, but it comes with decent accessories and has a cool Predator look, which is very unique. So it does have some redemption there. I'll give him an overall 6 out of 10. The camouflage paint job is a big factor though, so if it had a better paint job, this guy could have gotten a much better score. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I have thousands of videos already on the channel and new ones coming out just about daily. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.